Bonnie Blue. Bonnie's the best ever.
If a woman slept with her partner 1,057 times in 12 hours, would you call her a whore? Probably not. But if a woman slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours, would you consider her a whore? Bonnie Blue did just that. She slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours and the internet went mental. Is Bonnie Blue a genius or a master manipulator? Is she a danger to our society and younger generation? Why men risk the possibility of getting STI? Or is there a darker reason that lurks in the shadow that we ignore to acknowledge? This is the Moral Conundrum of Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is a fascinating topic, more so a curiosity of mine. If you are curious like myself, and you would like to explore uncharted observations, and you do not mind that your perception is being challenged, then you have found the right tribe for you. So let's go together in a case study decoding Bonnie Blue as a phenomena and why people are so obsessed with her. With that being said, let's get into it. Marketing genius, rage bait content. Every publicity is good publicity. Whether you're disgusted by her work or not, we can all agree that Bonnie Blue is a marketing genius. From sleeping with 1,057 men, bunking freshmen, inventing marketing tagline, barely legal, which enrages people, to getting banned from OnlyFans and her petting zoo stunt, the internet went into a frenzy and created content slugging her off. Hence, we are here today contributing to her algorithm. But make no mistakes, Bonnie Blue cannot be underestimated. She understands human behavior, social media, and she's unapologetic about it. Is her tactic unique? No. Giving free services is a very common practice. In fact, it is one of the oldest tactics in marketing. A lot of tech giants like Facebook, Google, YouTube, X, TikTok, and Snapchat use the same tactic. You are free to use the platform in exchange for your data. Very transactional. But what makes Bonnie Blue the talk on the internet is because she's very good at trading on the thin lines of morality. Sleeping with 1,000 men causes an uproar because it's not conventional. It disrupts social order and challenges social norms, where promiscuity is heavily frowned upon, even though it is commonly practiced since the dawn of human civilization. Do you remember the folklore boogeyman? A monster with red eyes lurking in the shadows, in the closet, or under the bed, waiting to pounce at naughty children. It is used to control children so they behave, and Bonnie Blue reanimated a real-life boogeyman. Promiscuity is the same as the boogeyman. It represents fear, stigma, and the destructive side of human desire, which is what promiscuity is all about. Promiscuity is the force that lurks in the shadows of societal norms, waiting to disrupt the established order, and Bonnie Blue made the promiscuity the new norm. I strongly believe that the outrage from people is highly motivated as an attack of their belief system, especially their religious faith, upbringing, culture, values, relationships, family, and intimacy. Now that you understand why people are obsessed with her, which leads to my next case study. Is Bonnie Blue the problem? Let me present a moral conundrum to you. A man went to a supermarket, bought a chicken. When he got home, he made love with a chicken and then cooked it and ate it afterwards. The question is the man morally wrong? Let me know in the comments below. The same question can be asked of those men who are queuing up to see Bonnie Blue. Are they morally wrong? I heard people say they're disgusted by those men, or they're a loser, or they are gay, or they need to be smacked on the face. But what we fail to ask is, why are they lining up to see Bonnie Blue? Why would they take their precious time of their day, or even fly to see Bonnie Blue? Is it pure for pleasure, or a more sinister reason that we fail to see, or to some extent we ignore to acknowledge? These men are lonely, and Bonnie Blue happens to tap into the unattended market. She is using loneliness as her currency. So let's do an experiment. If you're not driving and listening to this, then you can close your eyes. Otherwise, simply follow my voice. Imagine you're a man in your mid-30s, grinding hard and working at least 40 hours a week. No social life. You feel physically unattractive because you do not have time to work out and you are lonely. You do not know how to meet women. You tried to go on dating app and only to be rejected over and over again. When you open your social media feed, it is full of content on how to be a masculine. You see all these fit men driving their Bugatti with beautiful women. You feel pressured in a society that constantly reminds you that the only way to stand out is to be physically fit, financially stable, and hubris, the only qualities that women would date for. Then you open the adult content website and met the likes of Bonnie Blue. You get invited to her queue. No strings attached. You do not need to impress her. All you need to do is show up and enjoy the pleasure. If you are that man, desperate for bodily pleasure and a sexual desire of a woman touch, considering everything, would you not go? You would probably say no. And by the way, you can open your eyes now. If you say no, I can understand why. But the thing is, you only spent minutes imagining their life and what may feel like decades, if not entirety of their life. You could argue that how we live is a choice. 100% agree. But the entire purpose of this case study is to challenge your perception about those men by putting yourself in their shoes. That perhaps there are deeper reasons that push them to desperation to see the likes of Bonnie Blue. And I made a deep dive video about this here. And back to my initial question, is Bonnie Blue the problem? Partly yes and no. Let's look at first why partly no. And as we wrap up this video later, we will discuss why she's partly the problem and not 100% the problem. So why partly no? If these men are feeling secure, a purpose in life, feeling mentally healthy and socially connected, then I believe they would have better things to do with their life or their time than queuing for Bonnie Blue. They would have no reasons to see her. If we eliminate the demand, there will be no market and no reason for Bonnie Blue to exist. However, you could also argue that for as long as sexual desire, the forbidden act of human desires, exists, then it will always give rise to sex work. Agree. But a society where people feel more connected, and supported might reduce the demand for sex work, as individuals seek more meaningful and emotionally fulfilling experience. Therefore, name-shaming those men will not solve the problem, but will only prove that they made the right choice for seeing Bonnie Blue, because she cares for them, she sees them, and even go as far as defend them.
When you look at these men, is there any part of you that thinks to yourself, you fucking sad plum? They need a slap.
When I answer these questions, everyone thinks I'm marketing myself. I'm saying it because my subscribers obviously want me to say this, or of course I'm going to say that, because why would I say they're disgusting? Genuinely, they're not. These men have all got such a different reason for being there, for wanting to meet me. Maybe their wives not sucked them off, or maybe they're going through a really down time and they're concerned about their body appearance, so them coming to see me is a boost in their confidence. Or maybe they absolutely adore the wife, but the wife's no longer sexually active in that sense, so they just want to come and see me, have their release, and then go back to them. Like, I don't judge them. I don't find them disgusting. And I don't care if they're skinny or fat. Like, genuinely, I'm not repulsed by them at all.
Whether you see that Bonnie Blue truly cares for her followers is beside the point. What matters is how she makes them feel. So if you want to help those men, or if you do not want to push those men further to go for the likes of Bonnie Blue, then perhaps you can start by treating the people around you with kindness, because you'll never know what these people go through behind closed doors. The next case study that I'd like to explore is Bonnie Blue a master manipulator? First off, let's define what a manipulator is, so we can keep it in mind as we explore deeper into this case study. Manipulator is a person who controls people to their advantage, often dishonestly. So let's examine the two infamous Bonnie Blue tagline. First, barely legal. Uni students bank me and let me film it.
Barely legal people, yeah. And if you've got an issue with the age, then take it up with the government.
Is it a manipulation when she is upfront about the transaction? Free sex in exchange for being filmed? Is that deceptive or dishonest if it involves two consensual adults? And I can hear you right now saying, yes, it is consensual, but it does not mean it is morally right. People consent on many things, but that does not mean it is morally right. If this is you, hold that thought. We will explore morality at the end of this video. So, is she a manipulator? I'd say no. She is indeed brazen, but not a manipulator. It becomes manipulation when her sexual partners are not aware that they are being filmed, let alone consent to having it put online for financial gain. That is a clear deception and dishonesty, like the infamous Uncle Red in China, who allegedly provides sex favors in his place and discreetly filmed those men without their knowledge. Uncle Red allegedly sells this video for financial gain. So that to me is a clear manipulation. The second infamous tagline of Bonnie Blue, which is believed to cause an outrage among women, especially the wives and girlfriends, is, "Don't worry about having sex with your man. I'll do it for you."
Yeah, well, I'm saying, don't worry about having sex with your husband. I'll do it for you. I'm saving people a job.
I understand the sentiment. I have been cheated too. It sucks and it's painful. When you see an adult content creator blatantly encouraging men to cheat on the partner, of course it brings up those memories of betrayal. Rightly so. It does not bode well with those women in an exclusive relationship. Esther Perel, famous sex and couple advisor and best-selling author of Mating in Captivity, Unlocking Erotic Intelligence, cited in her book, Why People Cheat. One of the findings is that cheating is nuanced, yet a common occurrence. Some people cheat for all sorts of reasons. Even in a healthy relationship where both partners love each other, and have been in a relationship for a long time. Some people cheat to discover or to explore themselves outside their relationship. Cheating does not always mean a lack of love for their partner, but a desire for novelty and adventure on the part of the person who cheated, exploring their sexual desires that they do not want their partner to see, or they are not comfortable exploring with their partner because it may shatter the persona that they have built for so long in that relationship. So, I 100% understand where the worry comes from. If a healthy relationship can likely experience cheating, then the odds are high if your relationship is not secure. But you cannot live a life every day thinking that the sky is gonna fall on you. It would be a dreadful and a miserable way of living. The same can be said of your relationship. You cannot wake up every day asking yourself, is he going to cheat? It is an occupational hazard that you may be hurt or be cheated on. It is part of being in love. You entrust someone with your heart in the hopes that they will not hurt you. I am paraphrasing Simon Sinek here. The bottom line is loving someone is indeed a gamble, but also beautiful. So make the most of it while it lasts. And spend each day as if it is your last. One thing I'd like to add, and I live by this since I was cheated on. A man who can be stolen or would cheat on me means he is not the right one for me. Perhaps I have dodged the bullet. Tolerating extramarital activities outside your relationship is a preference. And I personally would like an exclusive relationship. So do not let your emotions get the better of you and get riled up when you see Bonnie Blue encouraging men to cheat.
Yeah, and what you're doing is disrespectful and it's disgusting.
Instead, focus on those insecurities. Explore where they came from. The sooner you nip it in the bud, the sooner you can focus on your partner and your relationship. If Bonnie Blue is unapologetic, then be unbothered by her marketing stunt. If you are not bothered, then you are not giving anyone control over your emotions. Which leads me to my next exploration. Is Bonnie Blue a danger to society, the younger generation, especially men and women? Is she encouraging young women to prioritize money over their bodies? To answer this, we need to understand where it all started. Researching Bonnie Blue revealed a very common pattern that people share with her: the pursuit of fulfilling career, the pursuit of happiness. I'd like to highlight that fulfilling careers and happiness are very subjective. Bonnie Blue worked in recruitment, was married and moved from the UK to Australia, but the grind of 9-to-5 job did not sit well with her. She was stressed and very unhappy. And what most people do when they are stressed and unhappy, go into spiral and most often drive them to desperation to get out from that miserable job. I believe this is what happened to Bonnie Blue based on what I've understood from watching hours and hours of her interviews. She wanted freedom to do what she wants whenever she wants. Her recruitment paycheck could not afford this kind of freedom and lifestyle. So she did what most people would do: earn more money. Come Girl paved the way of this lifestyle. At first, Bonnie Blue was very awkward on camera, slowly became comfortable and enjoy her work after seeing the fruit of her labor. Later, her marriage dissolved and they went on separate ways. Her early interview on the Whatever Dating podcast revealed her determination to settle down and have a family in the future. While she still maintains this positive outlook, her recent interview on the Standout TV showed a little change of tone. She is no longer certain of having a family. Her most recent podcast with Liam Tufts, she admitted that dating is now scary.
I mean, the idea of even dating now, it's scary. You know, I met someone and I thought I was going to be with them for the rest of my life, and that's not the case. And I've realized you didn't always get this fairy tale ending.
And her future partner must be okay with her line of work, which is not an easy feat, but possible. Bonnie Blue is like anyone else who seeks freedom to spend quality time with the people she cares and enjoy a fulfilling life, whatever fulfillment means to her. She just happened to pick up the most taboo and unconventional career, sex work. So why is this important? In order to understand one's behavior, it is essential to understand the journey that brought them to where they are at the present time, and that includes their struggles. Bonnie Blue does not appear to believe in God or a higher being, which often find in religious faith or spirituality. So calling her soulless or empty is like talking to a wall.
It was the most vile concept that only the devil himself could come up with.
When you see Bonnie Blue, you may be enticed by her lifestyle, the world that most people dream and desire to experience. The money, the fame, the glitz, the glamour, which I can understand how this can be alluring to young, impressionable women. But before you decide to sign away your life to be the next Bonnie Blue, let's explore the potential risk in working in the sex industry, peeling the curtain beyond the glamorous exchange of flesh for money. First, nothing lasts forever. It means you will never be forever young. Your body inevitably ages through time. And in an industry that highly rewards your looks, your youth for financial gain, it is going to be an uphill battle. Have you seen an old sex worker who is thriving in the sex industry? I have, but they're very rare to find.
Customers are drawn to you.
Well, thank you. Because, you know, I'm a little older than most of the girls, but it actually kind of works in my favor a lot of times.
What about those who decide to leave the sex industry? Do they manage to reintegrate back to the society? Before I share what I found from these research studies, I'd like to preface that I always advocate for variations as the norm. No individual experience is the same. However, in order for us to understand group patterns and behaviors, we need to discuss statistical summaries or generalization, but it does not invalidate the individual experiences nor eliminate the possibility of the opposite outcome from the studies that are presented. So with that in mind, let's see what the research shows. A study conducted in the UK where they tracked down 130 women over 15 years to understand the lasting impact of sex work. It has shown 5% mortality rate per 1,000 person years. It shows significant health problems including high risk of STI, substance misuse, infertility, and mental health problem, among others. Equally important, this study indicated that there are no differences in health outcomes for women who are still in the sex industry versus those who had stopped. In a nutshell, sex work poses health risks to themselves and to public health. The second risk I'd like to explore working in sex industry, especially as an adult content creator, is the internet never forgets. Once the content is out there, it stays forever. It is not as simple as deleting files from your computer. The global interconnectedness and decentralization of information making it difficult to remove content. Just because you did not see it on the mainstream, it does not mean that it does not exist, especially on the dark net. When Bonnie Blue was pressed about the forever content in the Liam Tufts podcast, she was not fazed by this. She believes that by the time she has her future kids, they will be living a well-off life and nothing can be overcome through a simple education about her career.
You was having sex with multiple men on camera because you know that would humiliate them.
I don't necessarily think it would humiliate him, but I'd have to educate him a lot, and I would tell him from a early age, hey, this is what I do, this is my line of work. But I also haven't thought that far ahead.
However, I believe this is where Bonnie Blue will struggle. If money is the answer to everything, then it would shield these people from loneliness epidemic who are earning more than they can spend in this lifetime. Whilst money can buy you freedom and momentary companion, it does not guarantee meaningful connections. If anything, money sometimes drives those people to be empty, lonely, and disconnected. They struggle to trust people beyond their wealth. So, if your motivation is purely money to be the next Bonnie Blue, then at least educate yourself on the responsibility and the struggle that comes with it. You do not mind your content staying on the internet forever. It does not bother you that those content may haunt your future family, your kids, and your grandkids. That is, if you are fortunate enough to have a family and not getting STI. If you still say yes after navigating all these risks and the benefits still outweigh the risk, then perhaps you can be the next Bonnie Blue. And for the men who are considering seeing Bonnie Blue, I'd say stay safe out there. Bonnie Blue may seem your immediate solution to a fleeting desire, but I doubt she can provide you a meaningful connection, even if it's just a whim pleasure. I hope you are not making a decision that may permanently scar you. So back to my question, is Bonnie Blue a danger to society? Which ties up to a previous question, is Bonnie Blue the problem? If we are to answer this through the lens of health risks of her line of work, herself, and to others, then the answer is yes. But Bonnie Blue is partly the problem, and I did not say that she is 100% the problem, because her case and her line of work is very nuanced. Sex work exists before we knew what to call it. It represents the intrinsic human desire, which to this day is still a taboo but highly in-demand industry. The innovation of technology made this line of work more mainstream and ubiquitous. However, we need to acknowledge that there are societal implications that we need to discuss. We need to encourage sex positivity, less of the vilification of the consumer and the provider. And here are why. If we push sex work into the shadows and criminalizing it, it does not mean that no one will seek it. Sex is part of our human nature. It is also in human nature that the more we forbid it, the more it is sought after. Study shows that criminalization of sex work increases the risk of physical and sexual violence. It impacts the ability of sex worker to use condoms and negotiate with clients, which as a result increases HIV or STI. It deprives them of access to health services, whereas if sex work is legalized, they can practice safer sex, access health services, justice, and protect their welfare. Take a look at Australia as an example. Australia is the most promiscuous country in the world, with average of 13 partners, but with the least STI incidents, and sex work is legalized. It is clear that as a society, it is in our best interest to encourage law reforms that protect the welfare of sex workers instead of criminalizing it. So, my final thoughts on the Bonnie Blue moral conundrum. I cannot explain it without sharing what the philosopher David Hume wrote in 1739. Reasoning is an oath only to be the slave of passion and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. It means that moral reasoning is a result of your emotions. And by the way, I did a video about emotions here, and to give a short preview about emotions are not triggered, but you create your emotions. emotions are a result of your brain's predictions. And these predictions are coming from your life experiences, your belief system, your values, your religion, your culture, your upbringing, and content exposure. So how you perceive Bonnie Blue, whether her actions are morally wrong or not, is a reflection of your life experiences and belief system. Bonnie Blue and her work challenge your perception of sex work, human desire, and your emotions. She disrupts and threatens what most people believe as established order, the boogeyman. So that sums up everything, and I'm very curious to know your thoughts in the comments below. Which of the case studies that stood out to you the most? And if you haven't already, you can watch my video here. And I would really appreciate if you can support my channel by subscribing and sharing this video. So until next time, take care and bye for now.